11 months ago, I was before this committee on Senator Newman's quite similar voter ID bill. And at that time, I said that although Senator Newman and I respect one another, we had an honest, good faith difference of opinion on this bill. And that's still the case, but there's much, much more. It feels a lot different now than it did then. And that's because this country has seen a tidal wave of disinformation about our democracy, about voting, and about the last election. These are lies designed to manipulate and mislead people. So here is the truth. The truth is that the 2020 election was fundamentally fair, honest, accurate, and secure, period. State and federal courts around the country have examined and re-examined allegations to the contrary and found nothing, no material fraud or misconduct. So this bill, in my judgment, would not do anything to increase our already high level of confidence. What would do that is for all of us to tell the truth about the election and about the election system. So in Minnesota, despite a once-in-a-century pandemic, our voters leaned into the election. For the third time in a row, Minnesota was #1 in America for voter participation, and that's not an accident or a coincidence, at least in some part. That is a measurement of overall confidence in the system. People understand and know in their bones that it is fundamentally fair and fundamentally honest. Otherwise, they wouldn't participate in such high numbers. None of us would. It would be a waste of time. On December 8th, I testified before this committee, differently constituted, obviously. It was right in the middle of the drumbeat of lies designed to discredit the 2020 election. And I said I was concerned about the kind of language that was then being used to whip people into a state of outrage. And I said I thought someone would get killed. And I have never been more sorry to be right. We can have our differences on election policy, and we do, but we can't have differences on the fundamental objective truth. As for this particular bill, I think it's an example of the more you look, the less you like. Voter ID has surface appeal, certainly, but as voters discovered in 2020, the more you look and peel back the layers, the more you discover how dangerous it can be. And that's why I suspect they voted it down. The bill, if enacted, would shut out potentially hundreds of thousands of eligible voters. And let's start with seniors very quickly. I urge all members here to do what I did when I was in the legislature. Every time I was at a senior or assisted living center or a nursing home, I did an informal poll. I said, raise your hand if you have a current ID that reflects this current address where you now live. I never got past 50%. Therein lies a big problem. Provisional balloting, it would create a maybe list. Maybe we'll count them, maybe we won't for the first time in Minnesota history. And it's no wonder that across the country, some 85% of provisional ballots are never counted because people don't want to go to a county office a week after the election, particularly if all the results have been called. They're just not going to do it. So those people will be shut out. Madam Chair, I see my time is quickly at an end. I would just say that we have a system that is tested and trusted in Minnesota. Minnesotans know that our elections show integrity and accuracy. And one of the reasons we know that is people keep showing up in droves despite a once-in-a-century pandemic. So the more you look, the less you like. That's why Minnesota rejected the idea once, and that's why I respectfully urge members to reject that idea today. Thank you for your time and attention.